Hello. Alright, let's set up the HUD elements so that we can start looting. So I'm just going to do this first one in the player HUD widget. So just right here, I'm going to go over here to this canvas panel, the enemy list. I'm going to just duplicate it and then anchor it to the right. The alignment should be 1 on the X so that it's on the left side of the anchor. And 0.5 on the Y is perfect. So position Y, I want it to move left a little, that's up and down. I want it to move left a little bit. In fact, I want it to match this, which is 50 off the X. So on this side should be -50. Now for the size, I'm just going to scroll it out to something that looks decent. Looking like 450 is about pretty good. And then for the size Y, say 600 just to boost it up a little bit. And maybe move it up just a touch, -25, just to get it above that. Alright, looking pretty good. So the enemy list I want to rename. This is going to be loot table. And now for the canvas panel, I want to add an image to it. Did I hit the wrong one? I must have hit the wrong one. So we'll just take that off. Canvas panel, there it goes. And I want it anchored to the whole thing. Boom, boom. But I want its Z order to be -1, so we'll move it behind just to make sure that that loot table is highlightable from right here. See how it's kind of popping up for a second, but my hands are shaky? Yeah. Alright, now I'm going to move this image. I want it to be just a little bit offset from the top, so I'm going to offset it by -50. You can play around with values and just kind of get the look you're going for. This is just the look I'm going for, so I'm going to make it completely black. 0.5 on the alpha, and that's looking fine. Now I'm going to add a text block, but I don't want it to go to that scroll box or the loot table, so I'm just going to drop it on the canvas panel just like that. Anchor it to the top center, reset its offsets, 0.5 on the alignment for X and 1 for Y, and then right here for justification, align center. And now you can kind of just move it around where you want it. Let's see, just like that. Actually, I'm going to align this one to the left. I want it to be italic, and we'll say 30 on the font size. And this will say loot found. Exclamation. Is that an exclamation point? Yes. My eyes getting bad, I guess. I don't know. But that's looking mighty fine. Alright. So now I want to add a button, because this will be the button that lets you close the widget. So right onto the canvas panel, just like the last one. I want to anchor it to the top right. Reset its offset, but on the X it's a 1, and on the Y it's a 1. And then we'll just kind of position it around where we want it. So I want it not completely against this, and not really that big. Let's say a size X 50 no 25 35 35 looks good. I like 35. And that'll be the close button. So we renamed our loot table. We can make this not a variable so that we don't have so much on there. Button 476. I'm going to rename that to close button. Compile that. And now the way because we don't want this to be on the screen at all times. So if I compile and I just hit play right now, you see, oh no, but there's no loot. We don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this loot table to define when it should be visible. So I'm going to go to the canvas panel. And for visibility, I'm going to create a binding. And for that binding, we're going to grab my loot table. grab that out, and I want to see if it has any children, because each time we pick up an item, or each time we loot an enemy, each item is going to be fed into this loot table as a child of it, and so we'll be able to check off of that. Add a branch. If it does have children, visible. If it do not, it is not, and we will say it is hidden. So now I compile and play, and then it's gone. Hooray. Hooray. Alright. So now what we need is the actual loot icon. So I'm going to right click, create a user interface of a widget blueprint, and this will be my loot icon underscore UI. I've forgotten my own naming convention. And I'm going to open that up. Now if you are on Unreal Engine 5 and you create a widget thingy, apparently it doesn't have a canvas panel to start, so you can just like search the palette for canvas panel and it should pop up. Except for this time we don't need one, so I'm sorry for telling you that. So I want to put it as custom on screen. Now I want this to be, what was my other one? It's been a little while since my last video and I have forgotten my loot icon size. 300 by 100. So width 300, height 100, and I am going to add an image to my canvas panel. Not a variable. Tint black, alpha 0.75, and now I want a, how did I do this? Maybe you do want a canvas panel. Maybe I was wrong. It's not the first time. Damn it. Alright. Well, delete that image. I'm going to put a canvas panel because I like to waste time, apparently. So now I'm going to drop an image and anchor it to the full screen. Reset my things back down to 0.5 and black. Alright, now I want a button, so I'll put it on the canvas panel. And I want it bound to the left side, not directly at the top. Position Y is 0, alignment is 0.5, and the size 50 and 50. Ooh, 50. Position X is 25. That looks good. So it's position X 25, 0 on the Y, 50 and 50 on the size X and Y, and 0.5 on the Y alignment. Now I'm going to add another image. This one's just more decorative than anything. It's going to be aligned or anchored to the right. 0.5 on the Y, 1 on the X. And let's move it just a little bit. Let's say negative 5 on the X. And then I'll just drag it out like this. It's just going to be a little decorative thing to hold the name text. So it's going to be like a nice grayish. 0.05 probably looks alright. And now I'm going to add a text block. Right about there looks perfect. This one I'm just going to drag the anchor over because that's where I want it at. And this is going to be the item name. Now I want the size, the font size on this one to be a little bit smaller. And scoot it left a little bit actually. That looks decent. Decent enough for now. So I'm going to make this one a variable and it's going to be called item name is variable. This is going to be the item button is variable. Compile. Over in the graph, let us do things. So since this is going to be holding item information, we need to add our item info structure variable. That will be instance editable and expose on spawn. So I'm going to grab that out. I'm going to grab my item button and my item name because I'm going to set the name first. So I'm going to set the text with this parentheses, parenthetical text. Is that a word? Parenthetical? I don't know. Let's break the item info. For the item name, just plug it into item name. Now for the item button, we want to set its style. For the in style, let's make the button style. Move this way, move this way. And for the normal, let's drag off, and we want to make the slate brush just like we've done so many times before. I'm going to drop these down because the item image will be fed right here. Now for the hovered, I'm just going to copy this slate brush and paste it right here. To the hovered, item image into image, tint down, because we want to make slate color. This is how we can apply that little tint that says you're hovered over it right now. So pure white, 0.1, 0.01, 0.025. Whatever works for you works for you. I'm just going to go ahead and do that right there. So then we'll compile that. Now on the clicked for that button, now there's something else we need to do. Hang on a tick. Pick up item, HUD ref. Right. Okay, I remember. All right. So now we want to do an onClicked event. So for onClicked on the item button, we need to cast to our player. Let's get the player character, and then we will call our pickup item function. Now the item that we're picking up is our item info. Then we need to get our loot table. So we need our, can I get it from here? No. Let's get our player HUD ref. What did I call it? HUD ref? Yeah. Let's get the HUD reference. And then we can get the loot table from that. And we can find item. Vertical box. How did I do this? Bear with me 1 second. Oh. Alright, we don't need to do that. We do need the loot table. We don't need this. Well, let's see. Remove child. And the child info that we want to remove is the self. Then after that, we want to, what is this? True if the widget has found and loot table. We want to get children count and see if it's greater than 0. We'll add a branch here. And back to my other notes real quick. Ah, we need an enemy reference. Okay. So here in our copy, what we need over here is also an enemy reference. So we'll add a new variable. It'll be a call to our base enemy blueprint class, object reference, instance editable, expose on spawn. Because I'm going to drag this out, and if the children left in the loot table is not greater than 0, then we're going to call a function that's set up in our base enemy class, which we haven't set up yet, so I'm going to go ahead and set that up. So in our base enemy, let's add a custom event called looted, and we can add a delay of 5 seconds, and then we destroy actor. So this is where you could add any kind of disintegrating particle effects, anything to play out, anything to make the body fade before it just like out of existence. Now on the drop loot check, if the actual loot is not greater than 0, as in they didn't drop any item, I'm just going to go ahead and call that looted function right here. So now in our loot icon, we can call that looted function. So if it's Get children greater than 0. If it's not greater than 0, then we want to call it. I almost set it up on the wrong one. Alright, now we're in our base enemy class. We need to set up an interact function. If I had to record that other one a few times, so if you don't have this interact function on your base enemy class, just go to class settings, interfaces, and add it. But if you do, then just ready to go. Alright, so event interact, which remember we'll only be able to do this once they're dead and in our interactables anyway, so it's all good up there. We will get our actual loot, create widget. No, wait. I'm sorry, I gotta keep going back and forth. It's been a little while. Had a few things going on yet again. But, you know, it just happens. Let's see. Event interact. I'll find it. I'll find you. Where are you at? Oh. Okay. So for right now, we're just going to set up the actual getting it on screen. So length greater than 0, true, let's see, for each. Alright, so we're going to do a for each loop of our actual loot. We're going to cast to the player blueprint, which we'll actually do before the for each loop, because we only want it to do once. We don't want it to fire off every single time. That might cause some performance issues. We'll get the player character right here. Now for each one we want to get, wait, what is it? Data table row. Get data table row. We'll hook this to that. Now the data table is going to be our item info data table. For our array element, we will go to string, and the string will auto convert to name. Now for each item of the actual loot, we want to create our widget of the loot icon. Loot icon. And then for the out row, that goes straight into item info, and then the enemy ref is self. So whatever enemy we're interacting with will become the enemy. Create loot icon UI widget. Now from the player blueprint we can get HUD reference. I'm going to go above. Loot table. Add child to vertical box. Add child to vertical box. You want to make sure it's to vertical box. Now the content will be that right there. And for now that should be good. Let's test it out and make sure. That should at least get the loot on screen. Won't get much else going on. Oops. But we'll get it on screen at least. Watch him not drop anything. Alright, he dropped something. He dropped an iron sword and a health potion. Wow, that spacing is a little rough, isn't it? Oh, and it adds to loot every single time. Now let's see what you dropped. Same thing. I guess it is possible. So, alright. Well, it's getting on screen. It doesn't look very good, but it's getting on screen. We can fix that though. So I'm going to go to the canvas panel of our loot icon. I'm going to wrap it with a scale box. And I'm going to wrap that with a size box. Now for this width and height override, it's, whoa. It's 300 and 100. 300, 100. Jeez. So now it should at least look better when we get in there. There is a little bit of a spacing issue, but that's set up with the loot table itself. Come on, Mr. Knight. Yeah, it looks better. And he dropped a shield this time. So it should, if I click it, yeah, I picked up his sword, iron shield, health potion. I got all 3 of them. Hey, we can actually loot already. Okay, but let's see if he yeah, he destroyed. The fire did not. Attempted to access. Get health percent. Oh. That's our enemy list. And it couldn't get a reference to him because he was dead. Wait, he should be removing himself. Shouldn't he? Didn't we set that up? Did I disconnect something? Stop movement. Montage stop. I noticed this montage wasn't stopping neither. What's going on? What you doing up here? Let's see. Montage stop. Behavior mode, behavior unit, remove child. Why is none of this happening? Oh, it's because I didn't hook the false. Okay, so from the false on the skinnable, right after the drop loot check, I added that branch with the skinnable. I forgot to hook the false up, so that's why. So the false can just pass the add unique and go straight into stop movement immediately. That's my bad, Cletus. Let's try it one more time. Come at me, bro. Bros. Yeah, alright. You're dead. You're dead and you were about to attack, so it did cancel you out. Good. Oh. Alright, well we got that. So now let's go into our base enemy class. And where we're pulling up the looted stuff, let us first see this is event graph, okay. Interact. Let's create our take all function. So over here, I'm going to create a function called take all. And for that fairly simple function, let's take a look at it over on my other side. Not because I need a reminder or anything, just because, just totally because. Yeah, see, simple function. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get our data table. We're going to get our actual loot, whatever's remaining of it. And actual loot, we're going to do a for each. Oh, we have a player reference. Okay, cool. So for the loot body, we're going to get data table row. Enum to string, string to name, data tables item info, grab out our player reference, call our pickup item function, and then for each item in that data table row, we're just going to pick it all up. So now what we can do is in our event graph, where we're doing our event interact, right here at the beginning after we cast to the player, which actually might be unnecessary. We could probably just use that existing player reference, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to get the HUD reference, get the loot table, because I want to see, does it already have children? Because if it does, that means we're already trying to loot something. So, has any children? back this all up a little bit because I need a branch right here. I'm going to hook that has any children directly up. Now if it has no children, then we'll just go ahead and hook up everything as normal. But if it does, then we'll just go ahead and hit our take all function. And let's see, loot table. Then we can clear children, get our actual loot reference, and clear it out as well, and then call our looted function so that we can start the body getting ready to be destroyed. Now, one thing we do want to do right here in the drop loot check where it's spawning that emitter, let's promote that to a variable called loot system or whatever you want to call it. Just something that'll let you know that's the loot. That's the thing. Now in our looted function, once it is fully looted, I want to get my looted system destroy component. Just like that right there. So now, jump in. I'm trying to keep these videos short again, but once you get into these more things like this, it takes a little bit longer, so I hope it's not too much of a waste of your time. And I know it's especially more of a waste of your time considering I have to back up, go around so much. But I have to go check my notes so much. Alright, so now I can loot him. And then, oh, look at that. I got an iron sword and a shield. I want it all. Take it all. Alright. Now, you didn't drop nothing. Now, let's see. You over there. Come get some. And then hopefully you drop stuff so you can give me... I'm not going to finish that sentence. Alright, what did you drop? What did you drop? What did you drop? Where is your damn... Oh. Where's your capsule collision? Access none trying to read property loot system. What's going on now, buddy? Oh. Okay. So, in our base enemy class, once we've looted everything, we need to... It should have automatically removed it, because it contains true, then remove. But I guess since it didn't... I guess since it didn't technically stop overlapping before it was destroyed, it doesn't get a chance to remove it. So what we can do... Let's go to our looted function. Right before it destroys the actor, So right before it destroys the actor, I'm going to grab out my player reference. And I'm going to get interactables in range. See if it contains item of self. Damn it. Go. Alright. If not, destroy. If it do, remove item of self and plug that directly in. So that way we'll make sure that we're, no matter what, it should punch out right before he punches out completely. Alright. Test time. One hit a quitter. Got your health potion. I must have knocked their health down low. Iron shield, iron sword, health potion. Neat. Alright, now let's check one more. Just to make sure. Look at my little skiddly rabbit. My demo wolves. The demo wolf isn't gonna die just yet because oh, he disappeared. Okay, cool. Iron sword, health potion. Alright, so now we can loot our enemies and getting their bodies to be destroyed. Now the important reason for the bodies to be destroyed is so that the enemy respawn system will because even if they're dead, it'll still register the body because the class is still in the world. So that's why a lot of games it'll just start doing that thing, and then it actually destroys the actor so that it's not taking up too much memory. So yeah, sorry it's such a long one. Wait. Access none, trying to delete. Destroy component. Okay. Quick and simple fix. What we'll do is right here, let's just convert it. So right click, convert to validated get. And if it is valid, we destroy that component, and if it's not valid, we just skip over to the delay. Alright. Alright, that's it for this one. So now we can loot our enemies, and you can do all the same setup on the wolves. So for instance, animals, wolf, give me your BP. Alright, now see, he's got that interact radius already set up. And you can set that his potential loot to whatever you've got. So if he's got like some kind of meat or animal tendons, you can set that up here. You can set that he is skinnable in case he doesn't drop any of the other stuff. That way if you want to go hunt and you want to gather skins, he'll always drop the skin. And then you can just set it right there, and then he'll pick that up. And it'll automatically be fed in or added onto your actual loot list when you pick it up. So for instance, let me just do a for instance real quick. So he has no potential loot, no actual loot, but since he's got this skinnable and a wood bow, once he dies, let me add in a regular wolf because he's funny. Alright. You're making me a liar. Maybe he does have to have potential loot. Oh, it's because, okay. Yeah. So where we're doing our loot check. Since it's doing this little branch right here at the end, let's just destroy that because it's calling that other function before it's carrying on, so it's automatically going into the destroy. Yeah, there the fire comes. And he's got a health potion and a wood bow. The reason he's got the health potions because I accidentally added that, oh, that's the... Because right there. So what you can do is just in the base enemy class, you just kind of rearrange this a little bit. So we can actually put this before the loot check. I wanted to put it afterward just to avoid any kind of issues, but I don't think it should cause any. If it do, then just let me know. but we'll just set this on this side of it, and then it'll always work. You know, knock on wood. But that's it for this one. That's all I ever said, 35 minutes, so I do apologize for the length of this one, but these, once you start getting into the heavier elements, it does take a bit longer. But I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.